This is for Krishna, this is not mine. This is for Achyuta, this is for Ananta, and so many other names of Krishna can be used because he is the most multifarious personality, and he has biggest number of names, unlimited names, therefore he's Ananta. But the point is that we are being self-centered, always think in terms of I and mine, aham and mama. So sacrifice means to remind ourselves that whatever is there, whatever we are doing, it's for Krishna. It's not mine. It doesn't belong to me. Every living entity, especially human beings, is painfully conscious, are painfully conscious of their deficiencies. We are lacking. We always, psychologically, we feel that something is lacking in our life. And we always try to complete ourselves by acquiring something which we think is lacking in our life. Like the other day, I was in a consultation with the doctor, and before me was one lady, and I could hear her crying and crying and crying. And I asked the doctor what's the matter, why she was crying so loudly that I could hear even from the closed door. And the doctor said, yeah, she has severe headaches. And then she said, you know, everyone is only concentrated on something which they're lacking. They cannot really appreciate what they already have, but they're painfully aware of something which is missing in their life. And that's why they are so suffering so much. So it's a very natural psychology of a human being to be aware of our incompleteness and to try to compensate for the incompleteness by acquiring something which we lack, or we think we lack, or other people may think that we are lacking this. And therefore, from this mentality, the fruitive mentality is developed. We are very much attached to the fruits of our action just because we want to complete ourselves, to make us more complete, and to compensate for the inferiority complex, because every one of us has some sort of inferiority complex. This is lacking, I'm not up to the mark, I'm not as good as I should be. And being devotees, we become even more sometimes aware of our deficiencies and lacking. So that's why we become fruitive, as Prabhupada used to say, that was one of his favorite terms. We are attached to the fruits of our actions. We always think it's something which should belong to me. And sacrifice is the complete 180 degrees turn of our mentality from this fruitiveness, that all the results of whatever I'm doing are supposed to be mine, and they're supposed to make me more happy and more complete. Instead of this, we should proclaim very boldly and perhaps sometimes little carelessly, idam Krishnaya, idam namama. This is for Krishna. This is not for me. This is not something which belongs to me. And when this mentality is established in a real sense, it starts from this nice formula, which mainly remains just verbal statement. Idam Krishna, idam namama, when we put something in the fire, yes, this is for Krishna, this is not for me, idam anantai, idam namama, idam govindai, idam namama. But when it becomes the reality of our heart, that actually it doesn't belong to me, that my mamata, my natural tendency to claim that something is my property, that actually my mamata should not spread to these trivial things, to these little things of this world, or little fruits which we obtain and become happy of this. But actually our sense of mamata should expand, and we should come to Krishna and says, yes, this is all yours, but you are mine. This is yours, yes. This doesn't belong to me. This is not mama, but you are mine. You belong to me. So that's the journey of sacrifice. We start our journey to sacrifice by stating that all these little things which we which are so dear to us, which something, little fame, little glory, little money, little happiness, little whatever, it's all mine, 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 mine. But we're doing this with the idea that ultimately the ideal of the fulfillment of our desires to become Purna, to become complete, to become satisfied, will only be there if we say, Krishna, you're mine, you belong to me. If, or of course, in the initial stages, we should develop this, I belong to Krishna. I am Krishna's. But to do this journey, first we have to relinquish the results of our work, of our or the sense of proprietorship, not the results. The results will remain with us. Krishna doesn't need little results which we acquire. But what he needs from us, he needs to feel that we are not, we don't have this sense of proprietorship. This is not ours. This is something which is given to us. And instead of sense of proprietorship, which makes us proud, the emotion which comes and which actually replaces this pride is gratitude. Krishna, you gave this to me. You gave this day to me. You gave this world to me to do something. You gave this service to me. You have given me so much, and this is all yours. So to turn our work into sacrifice, to make our work, professional work or whatever work we're doing, we have to very clearly understand that, first of all, we should not enjoy the results of our work. This is the beginning teachings in Bhagavad Gita. which Krishna gives, that the results of your work never belong to you, but you have adhikar, you have the right to do to work. So if we do this with this understanding that I'm doing it not for the results, I'm doing it initially. The higher stages is, of course, Krishna is mine, or I belong to Krishna in the beginning. But in the very beginning is that I'm doing it because I have to do something, because I have to somehow or other use the energy which I have, which Krishna gave to me, because I have to be engaged, and I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this because I'm meant for this, because I cannot remain idle. And ultimately, this all belongs to Krishna. And this feeling is called namaha. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that this namaha or swaha, which we habitually pronounce when we're doing sacrifice, swaha or namaha, means the giving up false ego, nama, giving up the false identity, giving up the false identity which consists of I and mine. So basically, to turn our work into sacrifice is not to be attached to the fruits of our actions, which will come anyway. But we're doing it not for the sake of the fruits. We're doing it for the sake of Krishna, and we're doing it because we really like doing it. Why this sense is so difficult in the modern world is that because most of the people are engaged not according to their propensities. They're doing something strictly because they need to earn money. And they're not satisfied. They don't have this work satisfaction or job satisfaction, but they need to do something, and they're doing it. And the more they're doing it, the more attached to the fruits they become, because they have to get, the fruits are the only source of satisfaction. If I'm doing something which I anyway like to do, and the fruits are accidental and some sort of reward which we don't even expect, that's one thing. But if I don't like doing what I'm doing, and I'm only doing it for the fruits, and then some strange person with stila comes and says, you should not be attached to the fruits of your work, it's really too much to ask. Because where is the source of satisfaction in this case? Therefore, Krishna is stressing so much. You have to be engaged according to your propensities. Then you derive a lot of satisfaction from doing what you are doing, and then you're not so attached, and then you're not so envious, and then the society can be peaceful. Whereas in the modern society, there is no emphasis whatsoever on doing what you're supposed to do. There is only emphasis on earning more money and doing something which will give you more money, which will bring you more money. And therefore, society becomes progressively less and less peaceful. People become progressively less and less satisfied. And ultimately, the envy is increasing, and it's really becoming very unpleasant place to stay, the modern social structure and society. So the first condition to turn our work into sacrifice is to work according to our propensities. I'm looking at this screen, and see that there are many people who are actually engaged according to their propensities, at least to a certain extent. And that's good news. And of course, as devotees, we're supposed to like to do what we're doing. And we are also kind of volunteers. We're doing something because we like to do. So this spirit is very important. But even if we have some professional engagement, and most of the people, they should have some professional engagement, we should still try to derive satisfaction from what we're doing. Otherwise, it's virtually impossible to turn it into sacrifice. It will be very artificial. But still, even in this case, we should, remember this philosophy or this formula, Idam Krishna. I'm doing it for Krishna. The result belongs to him, and I'm doing it because he wants me to do. Yeah, and in this way, we will ultimately feel real satisfaction. I'm sure you all know these things. I'm just repeating something which is very much known to everyone. But the most important point is not just to know this, but to inculcate this mentality or this understanding very deeply within our heart. Idam Krishna, Idam Namama. This all belongs to Krishna, or this belongs to somebody else. This belongs to my spiritual master. This belongs to the society of devotees. I'm doing it for their pleasure and their satisfaction. So then gradually, our work will become yajna, and namaha. There will be no sense of ego. I'm doing it because I'm so great. Look at me. I'm so skillful and so intelligent and so smart, and I can outsmart anyone. When we look from the outside on this egoistic or narcissistic people, we see how ridiculous it is, especially when it takes very extreme kind of manifestations. I will not mention the name, but I'm sure every one of you knows whom I mean in this particular case. We see how ridiculous it is, when the person is so proud and so narcissistic and so much enjoying, how great he is, and always, making this point without, out of place, basically. Look how great I am. Look how great I am. We see it looks from the outside, it looks so ridiculous and so like you almost pity the person, he's so dissatisfied inside that he has to always remind to everyone, including himself, how great he is. So, but when it comes to us, we are doing it in a small scale and in a hidden way. And we think that nobody notices it. But actually, the same thing is going on. And when people notice it, they understand it's ridiculous, that. So the sooner we come to this understanding of reality that it belongs to Krishna. He gave us everything to us, What are we so proud? And it's so easy uh, to kind of, Krishna can easily take it away from us. We're always proud of something which we have, but, when we miss it, when we somehow or other, when it's taken away, then we become morose. But if we're grateful, Krishna will give more and more and more. It's the mentality. If somebody is grateful, there is Russian fairy tale about one ungrateful lady. Her husband was a fisherman, and the fisherman once caught a golden fish, and the golden fish asked him, "You please let me go, but I will fulfill all your desires, whatever you want." And the fisherman's husband was very simple. And he said, "Well, I don't want anything, but I will go and ask my wife what she wants. Let her tell me what she wants." And he went, and she told, "You know what, I got this golden fish, and the golden fish is going to fulfill all your desires." And then they were very poor, and she said in the beginning, "Yeah, let us give us little house." And then mm, but then he came back, and the desires of the wife became bigger, and the wife said, "No, I need palace, and then I need so many maid servants." And the poor husband would go back to the sea, calling the golden fish and saying, "My wife wants this, my wife wants that, my wife wants this." And ultimately, uh, he came back after all these desires were fulfilled, and the wife said, "Now I want that this golden fish will become my servant. So let the golden fish serve me." And the husband, he said, he thought that my wife is a little crazy, but because he didn't want to live with this uh, unhappy woman, he went back to Golden Fish and he said, "Now my wife wants you to serve her." And Golden Fish didn't answer anything and swam away. And the husband came back, and he found out that everything came back into the square one. They lost everything. So that's how it works, when we are grateful, whatever little we have, we cultivate gratitude, and we say to Krishna, "Krishna, thank you for giving me this." He will give more. But then when we'll become proud, and ultimately when we will say, "Krishna, you become my servant," then we'll lose everything. So that's the idea. If we cultivate the gratitude by concentrating of what we already have, and attributing this to Krishna. Krishna gave me this intelligence. Krishna gave me the society of devotees. Krishna gave me so much. I mean, it's unbelievable how much he gave me. If we're grateful, Krishna will trust us, and he will give more and more and more. But if at one point we will start claiming that this all belongs to me, and I'm so great, and Krishna is just my servant, then everything will be taken away from us. Anyway, I'm talking for too long. I guess that's enough to for you to ask questions if you have any. Otherwise, yes, Brother Pramod has question, because he is the organizer of this group. We'll give him the first preference.
But what exactly it means not to enjoy the fruit? Like say I am working, I get my salary.
Huh?
What it means to not enjoy the fruit. I get my salary and I purchase things with it and I have facilities with it. What is it means?
What exactly does it mean not to enjoy the fruit? It basically means, you know, we try to enjoy the work itself. And then when we enjoy the activity itself, whatever it is, like if we're preaching, we try to be satisfied with the preaching which we are doing. If it is our, professional work, we try to do it as nicely as possible and try to derive satisfaction from doing it nicely and doing it properly according to higher plan. And not too much concentrated on the by products of this or the results of this. When we're doing something and our mentality or our meditation is on the results, then we are trying to enjoy the results. If we're doing something and our meditation on doing something which we're doing in the best possible way and to be satisfied with what we're doing, then the fruits will come automatically and the enjoyment will come. But this enjoyment which will come from the fruits will not be harmful. It's very easy to understand. When we eat because we need to eat, then the enjoyment which we derive from the food is natural and healthy. But when our meditation is on the enjoyment of eating, then this enjoyment becomes very unhealthy. It's the same with the sex. If the sex we're doing as a service to procreate nice children, then the byproduct of it, enjoyment, is not harmful. But if we are concentrated on this enjoyment and doing it, if we're eating for the sake of eating, not for living, then it becomes harmful. The same with the sex, the same with everything else. If we're doing it for the sake of doing it, then the enjoyment of the results is natural and not harmful. It will come. It's a byproduct, the results will come and the satisfaction will also be there from that. But if we only concern, like, take very close example, very relevant example, we're preaching, and if I'm happy while preaching and then somebody appreciates our preaching, then naturally we're satisfied from preaching, but on the top of it we're also satisfied of their appreciation. But if while preaching we're always thinking whether they appreciate it or not, and then somebody doesn't say that, oh, you're preaching so nicely, then we become unhappy and we're not deriving satisfaction from the work itself. So our meditation is to do nicely something which we are doing and not on the fruits of this, and fruits will come and will give natural satisfaction or may not come. That's not that important. Yes, we have so many questions. We start with Krishnamrita, then Revati.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, dear devotees. Guru Maharaj, thank you greatly for this series of wonderful webinars. And this topic is so urgent. Many Mataji ask the question, so they have to go to work. And the atmosphere at the work usually very hard. A lot of criticism, competition, and so on. And of course, they try to change something by praying and bringing prasad, and maybe initiating, if they are not too shy, initiating interesting discussions. But very often the question comes, if to stay at this work or try to change it, for sure, each situation is individual, but maybe you can give general recommendations, because it's so often this question is really hard.
Well, it's very difficult to give general recommendation, but the general recommendation, if any, could be given in such case. Yes, sometimes the atmosphere becomes totally intolerable. The rivalry, the envy is so great, and it's just impossible to be. But I would say if you can, to a certain extent, sanctify the atmosphere, improve the atmosphere by your influence, then it's good. Then if you have this ability, if you don't have, and you're just suffering through and through by coming every day and being in this poisonous atmosphere, then it's probably a good idea to find something which is somewhat more conducive or more favorable. Because there are grades of this phenomenon. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. So if you can influence positively and continue positively influencing the situation, then why not? But if the envy becomes too much, then there is no use of staying in such a place. It is actually advice of Chanakya Pandit. Chanakya Pandit says that you should not stay in a place where you are not respected. The minimum requirement of being in a place or in some sangha, in some association, is that you are respected there. And when you're respected there, it basically means that you have some means to influence the situation in a more positive way. But if you're not respected, then you cannot change anything. And then Chanakya Pandit says, just leave this place immediately. When you feel this utter disrespect and people are not really appreciating what you're doing and what you are and what you can bring to them, and then don't stay in this place. Revati Pati Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Humble obeisances to you.
I hope Maharaj that
Pune.
yes, Maharaj. This Hyderabad Yatra has been a great blessing for all of us. Particularly for me, I could attend quite a few of your questions or sessions as well as talks, and I felt greatly nourished and happy. And your thoughts are very, very wonderful, very rooted in scriptures, but very thought-provoking. And it leaves a great impression on my mind to contemplate on them and think deeply. And one of the thoughts.
This is your giving me the appreciation so that I would enjoy the fruits of my activities.
Well, you'll love to do it anyway, so that way you're already satisfied, not different than others. So it has been a thing. One question was connected to this class or in general also, which is there in my mind for a long time. After we know the philosophy, we know how to intellectually twist around the things and how to think in a particular way. Intelligence get molded. So I may do something and I know that it is ideally supposed to be done for Krishna's pleasure. So I may just assume that it is for Krishna's pleasure and Krishna is pleased. So this can come out in any way. I mean, it may be applied for sadhana or it may be applied for my relationship with other devotees. So mind and intelligence tends to put us, or at least put me in a situation where I feel that yes, this is the best which can happen, this is the best I am doing, and I'm making some progress in the spiritual life. But I wish to know, Maharaj, that how do we really, understand that we are evolving in our consciousness? What are those factors or some kind of litmus test which will make it very clear that over a period of time, as we are practicing, our practices is leading us to, deeper understanding as well as evolved consciousness in which we are coming closer to Krishna, closer to pure devotion service. So if you can illuminate on this, it will be great.
The ultimate criteria is, of course, your access to the source of happiness within. The activities in devotional service ultimately have to bring us in contact with the source of happiness within, because normally we don't have much experience of this. We are programmed to derive satisfaction of happiness from some external sources. But when we are causelessly happy, without any external causes for our happiness, and when this feeling is very much pronounced and becomes more and more prominent in our life, then it's a sign of our progress. Of course, sometimes the sign of our progress can be that we become progressively less satisfied because we feel that something is lacking. But even this is this can be the sign of progress, because for some time we may be enjoying the external things connected with devotional service, but then when we realize that we still don't have this deeper inner satisfaction, then we may become temporarily very dissatisfied, but only to look for this source of satisfaction and happiness, which is not caused by any external things. So this inner kind of happiness, and which is coming from very deeply inside, is the sign of progress. And we should be very eager to experience this sort of things. It's not egoistic satisfaction, but it's a sign of us coming closer to our Satchitananda spiritual nature, which is full of bliss, which is blissful. And of course, the other criteria, which is very obvious and which Srila Prabhupada would give very often, is that you derive more and more satisfaction from Krishna Katha, from hearing Krishna Katha. You become more and more attached. You want to hear more. You become more and more interested in Krishna Katha and Srimad Bhagavatam. That's an obvious criteria which Srila Prabhupada would repeat very often. And this is said in the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vishvaksena Kathasu Yatnot Padayat Yadiratim Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. If your satisfaction or interest in ruchi in Krishna Katha does not increase, then it's all useless waste of time. Shrama eva hi kevalam. There is probably the most emphatic statement in the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam. three emphasis in a row. It's Shrama, it's a useless work, totally. He means indeed, and Kevalam only, and again, indeed. So, yeah, that's an obvious criteria. When you become eager to hear Krishna Katha and you become very much interested, no matter who is telling it, and then it's a sign of your progress. Yes,
Them, they can answer it.
we'll
Thank you
take
very
them.
much.
Okay. Yes, let's take from the the question I wanted to ask for a while is that in order to see Krishna, we need to have a pure mind, etc. However, I can see from a distance the disturbances of my mind, its impurity. Whereas before, I would associate with it now. I try to ignore it and not to take it seriously, yet it still disturbs me that my mind is so disturbed and so far from pure. Is purification of the mind up to us? How affected are we when the contents of our mind are impure and i.e. judgment towards others, our desires, etc., yet we can recognize it? Well, basically, um, if we are capable of seeing these disturbances in our mind, and disassociate from these disturbances, not identify so much with these disturbances, not be too much engrossed with these disturbances, that's already a progress. Because in this moment of time, you realize I'm not my mind, I'm not my disturbed mind. I am, and I'm disturbed today. I may not be disturbed tomorrow. I will be again disturbed the day after. And I will not remember my disturbances the day after tomorrow, which I experienced today. But I will be disturbed in a different way the day after tomorrow. So if we recognize this, that yes, this is disturbances, but we don't take it so seriously. Yes, disturbances are there. Let them be there. Let them come and go. Then we'll become less disturbed by the disturbances. So if we identify too much with the disturbances, then it becomes very, very difficult for us to, then we disturbed because we are disturbed. Whereas the beginning of becoming peaceful and pure in mind is to become less disturbed by the disturbances in our mind. Yes, the disturbances are there, and it's very difficult. I mean, it's a nice theory. I don't claim that I mastered this art completely myself, but at least we know that if we try to kind of laugh away the disturbances which are there, like. Recently, I heard one experience of somebody who had panic attacks. And he had panic attacks regularly for many, many years, for 30 years. And, all of a sudden the panic attacks would come and he would become panicked because of the panic attacks. He knew that panic attacks is coming, and he would become panicking because the panic is coming. And this is like, the chain reaction. It's becoming more and more and more. And ultimately, he learned how these panic attacks come to him. And at one point, when he felt that the panic attack is approaching, and very soon he will be in this completely disturbed mind, he just said to himself, yeah, right, very nice, very interesting. Yes, you're panicking. Very, very nice. Let's panic even more. And when he looked with this attitude, all of a sudden he felt that there is not much panic. The panic became less. So that's the recipe also in this case. If we are becoming progressively more disturbed by the disturbances, this is not good. We are only aggravating the situation. We have to really, kind of look from outside in a very calm way in the disturbances of the mind and say, yes, right, my mind is a part of material nature. Because it's a part of material nature, it's always disturbed, because material nature is always in flux. It's always changing. So that's why the mind is naturally disturbed. Okay, let it be disturbed. Let me not be disturbed by it. And then the mind will become more sattvic, and sattva gun means less disturbed. So the less we are identifying with the mind, the better it is. So let's Amrita Lila ask her question, and then Nathan he didn't ask questions before, so we'll ask Nathan.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my obeisances. We are waiting for you at Govardhan. So you mentioned that...
Yeah, right. I'm coming. If Krishna is willing.
Everyone is praying. You mentioned that it's important to be engaged according to your nature, because otherwise it's very difficult not to be attached to the results of your work. And well, the problem is that in the modern world, a lot of people have no idea what their nature is. And it's also a popular trend to search for your true calling and blah, blah, blah. And there are a lot of courses and things you can do. And it seems like some people spend many years trying to find this perfect occupation. And for some, they may never find it. And like from what I heard, Srila Prabhupada often said, just do what you're doing. Don't overthink it. If you're a taxi driver, just keep doing it. So my question is, how much time and effort is it reasonable for devotees to really spend looking for their true nature and what they should be doing?
Thank you for this question. That's exactly what Arjuna meant when he said that there will be Varna Sankara. And Varna Sankara means mixture of Varnas. It means that your nature is not so clear. Like in case of Arjuna, he didn't have to take any courses to establish his nature. It was very clear for him and for everyone else, and including Krishna, of course. It's always clear for Krishna. In our case, of course, we have this mixed nature, mixed propensities. But you are exactly right. We should not be too mental about it. And every one of us has some kind of, something which we would like to do. And therefore, Vedic system makes it's quite simple, because division of on just 4 classes of men or women for this case, is simple. It's not very complicated. Either you like yeah, let's just very simply, the Vedic system of identifying human nature is not very complicated. It doesn't have so many different varieties. Either you are teach and you like to acquire knowledge, or you like to manage and you have some management ability, and you like to protect. You have very kind of strong feeling of protection, and or you like basically to enjoy and be socially connected and have fun in life, and you like to make money, or you like to do some kind of work which is tangible. So this is a simple classification. It has become very, convoluted and very strange with all this brahmanas, kshatriya, vaishya, and shudra. But in reality, it's very simple. What you like to do? You like to teach, or you like to protect other people and manage and provide them with some good work, or you like to, make money and have nice, cozy life, or you like to do something manually, or you like to do something which, results which are kind of tangible. So that's a simple classification according to these four basic natures. And it's not so difficult. You don't have to spend too much time for this. Just do whatever you're suited to do. And as you said, if you like to drive taxi, so what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. So yes. Nathan, please ask your question, because you're from a disturbed place.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev, my humble obeisances unto you. Actually, all my other questions on the topic have been answered, so I'll ask something not related to the topic. When reading Srimad Bhagavatam, how can we avoid this mood that I'll read this book right now and I'll understand everything with my own intelligence and everything will be very nice? How do we avoid this mood?
Well, it's very simple to avoid this mood. You just read Srimad Bhagavatam, and very soon you will understand that you don't understand anything. So, you know, because there are such far out descriptions in Srimad Bhagavatam, and even if initially you have this mood, it will be very quickly destroyed by Srimad Bhagavatam itself. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many descriptions which are far beyond our imagination and understanding. And the only thing which we can do, of course, we can have an illusion. Yes, I understood it. The illusion may be there, but if we seriously reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we will very quickly understand that actually it's far beyond my understanding. Even, quote unquote, simple description of the creation of this world, all this Sankhya philosophy, how the material elements are coming from the false ego. Even this is very difficult to understand for us with our intelligence, which is programmed by the conceptions of modern science. So just read more. It will be very quickly destroyed. So I guess we should just finish now. Or
Questions in the chat.
there was Surya. Surya wanted to ask a question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
Very blessed to receive your class. Maharaj, I don't know whether I should ask, so that's why I removed my hand. I don't understand Bhagavad Gita that much, and it relates to the previous question about understanding Srimad Bhagavatam. Um, but once I heard like a YouTube video where you explained one of the chapters, and it seemed to be clearer, a little bit more clear. And I thought maybe I could remember 1 or 2 points for some time. So I don't know whether I should ask you, but is there a place where we can access your Bhagavad Gita classes? Because when you speak, somehow I can understand like certain classes, but I don't want to trouble you.
Okay, somebody recently asked me, actually, Upagupta asked me to give the complete, and Radha Pramod was asking me for a long time to give the complete Bhagavad Gita course. So I will try to do it in some near future. So hopefully, if you give me your blessings, it will come. Here in the chat, Madhuri Dasi is inviting everyone to New Vrindavan for Urmila's course on career dharma in connection with this. And okay, let's read just one last question by Prema Tarangini. So grateful for all the association and very insightful wisdom you are so liberally sharing. Maharaj, while we have our nature, sometimes the circumstances, chronic health issues or family pressures very much prevent one from engaging based on that propensity. Of course, one can always engage their primary nature of being spirit soul and chant and hear and read, etc. But there still seems to be some nagging dissatisfaction due to a sense of not being able to contribute in a meaningful manner. Also, sometimes the natures are very mixed in Kali Yuga, which makes things further complicated. May I request you to share some guidance for this situation? Thank you very much. I mean, basically, when Amrita Leela asked your question, she more or less hinted on the answer on this. You know, if we have to do something, we have to do something. Let's do what we have to do without being too much mental about it. And, you know, we all sometimes have to be engaged not according to our nature. In Kali Yuga, it's a luxury to be always engaged according to our nature, and we have to do so many other things, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know, we have to do. Like somebody was joking that especially temple president, the temple president has to be learned like Brahmana, and he has to give good classes. He has to manage people and protect people. He has to earn money, and then he has to also clean the toilets. So this is the normal job description of the temple president in ISKCON. So, or any devotee in ISKCON. So let's not be too mental about it. Let's do according to the circumstances, do our best. And you know, Jayapataka Maharaj asked once Srila Prabhupada, you know, Srila Prabhupada engaged him in building this long building in Mayapur, and all the time he was dealing with Bengali workers who were not very professional or whatever, and he always had to do all this stuff. And he said, Prabhupada, you know, I don't have time for chanting. I'm just engaged in this Shudra kind of work by overseeing these workers. Prabhupada said, this is your chanting. This is for the time being, this is what you're supposed to do. So let's not be too mental about it. We have to do so many different things. Like most of my life, I had to somehow or other manage people, even though that's not really my nature. But I had to do it. I was doing it Not everyone was happy about it, including myself, but still I was doing it. Anyway, let's finish now because it's late and it's dark here. I am artificially lighted by very unpleasant torchlight, and I don't want to be tortured by this torchlight. So thank you very much for now, and let us see when we will meet again next time. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Guru.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna.
Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam, Maharaj.
Krishna.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Dandavad Pranam Maharaj.
Dandavat pranam, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam, Maharaj.
Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.